Hey, thank you. We're about halfway through the Pride Month right now, and at 41 Action News, we're sharing stories that highlight the LGBTQ plus community, including this morning. We're profiling a local reverend who took a real leap of faith when she became one of the few openly gay faith leaders in Kansas City.
In a story you'll only see on 41 Action News, Jordan Betts tells the story about trusting faith in a challenging time.
It's a good story for us on the first Sunday of Pride Month, right?
Reverend Donna Simon has a calling, a greater calling.
Trying to serve the church faithfully. I forget that I'm serving it faithfully as a lesbian because my primary identity is pastor.
But her passion to serve a higher power was not welcomed at the start.
40 years ago, there were no gay pastors in our denomination.
Because being a gay pastor, unheard of.
In 1990, we had a gay man and 2 lesbians ordained in San Francisco, and those congregations were immediately put on notice, and in 5 years, which is the amount of time it takes to discuss and then remove a congregation, they were removed from our denomination for making those calls. And those were the last calls that were issued until 2000, when one of the predecessors for this congregation called me.
Despite what could come, Simon took the role at St. Mark Hope and Peace Lutheran Church in KC.
Showed up here in Kansas City, and the first day in the office, August 30th, 2000, I picked up the phone. The very first thing I did, called the bishop and said, I'm really sorry. Because I know that you're going to have to go through a whole process now because, you know, you're supposed to remove my church.
But they didn't remove the church. They welcomed this new beginning, sort of.
Here in Kansas City, the Lutheran pastors who were really supportive, really wonderful. There were other people who weren't ready for this change in the church, and seeing me and having an enfleshed lesbian out pastor meant that the change was coming whether they liked it or not.
Since then, churches all over the city and country embrace a group that just wants to be like everybody else. And that means including and accepting them to whatever place they want to worship in.
Our church has to be willing to go to the ends of the earth and to bring everyone into this loving fellowship.
Now, the Reverend is married, and her wife have a beautiful little boy. She says if you are gay and you are afraid to come into church, her church, as well as dozens and dozens of others here in the metro, will welcome you with open arms and no judgments. Guys?
Pretty incredible story. Jordan, was there ever a point in her career where she thought she would not be able to do what she's doing because of who she is?
Oh, very much, yes. She thought she'd be kicked out of seminary at one point. She said she got to the very end. There was one final step before she became a reverend, and they postponed it. She said because there was going to be a change in policy. Luckily, it happened, and she said she did have faith, though, that one day churches would change policies and to welcome people just like her. And, well, she's accepted now, and she's been in this church ever since those early 2000s days. Guys?
Jordan, thank you very much.